Ever interested in trying to make your own video game? Well, stick around because I'll be interviewing Inu Base, an independent game developer from Mexico who's based himself here in Tokyo, Japan. In today's video, he'll give us some insight on how he became an independent game dev, and he has some advice for those of you who would like to do the same. So without further ado, let's get scruffy looking. Give us your self-introduction, where you're from, how you got to Japan, and how long you've been game developing.
I'm from Mexico. I'm from a town that's very much a tourist trap right now called Guanajuato.
Guanajuato.
If you have any time to go check it out, it's nice. It was showcased on Forza.
How long have you been in Japan?
I've been here for 22 years now.
Wow.
In late December 2002.
Oh, wow. What brought you to Japan?
Just the usual kind of mistakes you make in Europe. It was in Japanese and I met my wife. We eventually decided that coming here was the best option.
And how long have you been developing games?
Around a year after the events, fairly recently.
Recently? Okay.
Yeah, it was basically a way to remain sane while we're stuck at home. We just got to the other side of the world to never leave the house.
Right.
So, yeah, I had to do something.
All right. I mean, being able to make your own game is always pretty cool. Did you always know that you wanted to make video games?
I think that every people that has played anything wants to make their own game, right?
Right.
So you want to go and after playing Zelda, you want to create your own Zelda or Metroid or Contra, right? Eventually, life's gonna teach you that it's not going to be easy and maybe you just forget for anything. So I was lucky enough to get old enough to be able to just do it myself. I had no proper education on the matter. I am not a game designer by trade or anything. I've been programming for most of my life and said, okay, well, let's give it a go.
It seems like it's going pretty well. You said you're a programmer, so you weren't programming games before this, or?
The only games I programmed were test stuff for really old phones, Java applets and that kind of stuff, which were mostly to test the graphical capabilities of the phone, so
I see.
Nothing really interesting.
But you had been doing that since you've been in Japan, or for?
Yeah, but it's been mostly, whatever Techie is, that's what I program. So some days I'm doing databases, some days I'm doing audio codecs. A long time ago, even some JPEG decoder, right? Whatever brings you food to the table.
Right. Do what you can to survive, of course, right?
Yeah.
What were some of the games that you enjoyed growing up that influenced you to make video games?
A little bit of context. In
Sure.
Mexico, we didn't really get a lot of stuff outside of the world until about '89. So all of a sudden, we got the Atari stuff, the old arcade stuff, alongside with the newer Nintendo, some arcade, right? In the '90s. So we have like a very compressed story of a whole decade. I think the first game I ever played was Contra on one of these Mexican machines that we jerry-rigged, clone Famicom.
Right.
You put some money and you get about 3 minutes of gameplay.
Right.
This Contra is very iconic.
Okay.
But on the other side about the vibe, about the thing, about the stuff that I really like about games, I think a lot of Sunsoft games from that era, like there's Journey to Silius, it has a very nice base on it, Blaster Master, and of course all of the classics. And the other thing is that I enjoy games being something graphical and gameplay.
Right.
So it's in the sense of adventure. Another game that really brought that to me was because it was really silly, didn't take itself seriously. It's called Airborne Gym. So it's if this trend continues, we will get fully animated games. And of course, the trend did not continue. Everything went to 3D, which is also very nice. Once I began making games, I figured out that was the kind of thing that I could do. So that's what I'm doing.
I see. I can see a lot of influences in the game El Panadero or The Baker from those things that you just mentioned. So getting into that, I know a lot of people want to know about your game. So can you tell us what's your game called and a little bit about it?
This game that you can buy on the Switch and on the Steam. That's on itch.io if you want. Or if you are one of these lucky people in North America, you can buy it for the Atari VCS, which is a very nice Linux machine they made in there, but you can only buy it in there. It's a 2D platform scroller. All of the art is hand-drawn, with some very specific, very notorious exceptions. It's basically a mix of rolling and gun and run, with more emphasis on just getting close to your enemy and punch it in the face. because that's what I wanted. I wanted violence. But not murderous violence, just a lot of violence. Give it a go, it will take you about 1 hour. It's mostly an arcade-like. I don't know if this term even exists, but that's the idea I wanted. Because along with all the examples I gave about Nintendo and Konami, Sunsoft, and Shiny, the one thing that every single Mexican will tell you is that we love SNK.
SNK, yes.
And Top Hunter and all of that sort of experience that consists very lively, lots of colors that get you there, and if you're good enough, 30-40 minutes experience.
You said you did all the art yourself, so you hand drew all the graphics and all the level design and everything.
For most of the thing, there are only like a couple of graphics that one friend that is a cameraman.
Yeah.
He does some really spectacular collage. And he let me use one of his images for one of the scenes. Yes. But I will not spoil it.
Okay, so. Okay. I think I know what you're talking about. Yeah, that's really impressive. So as a kid, I did a lot of drawing myself as a kid too. Yeah. What were the type of things that you liked to draw when you were younger? Or did it revolve around games, I imagine?
There was a little bit of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. The thing is, when I was a kid, I was conservative household.
Yes.
So even drawing was seen as something that you should not do.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Once I got out, I just drew everything I could. But I usually was just something to get out of boredom.
Right.
Till this game.
Yeah.
I didn't really care about drawing much outside of just entertaining myself.
Right.
After the last game, I wanted more to do more animation to be fluid.
Right.
So I bought a lot of animation books.
Right.
On Book Off.
There you go. The best place to go, right?
Yeah, and then I just sort of trained myself on improving the animation and the animation feel.
Right.
And so yeah, of course, everything you see on the game is very amateurish because I am an amateur. There's no way to do it, but
right.
I'm doing my best.
Right. Yeah. I mean, it's very impressive somebody to make their own game and on top of that do all the art themselves. So that's probably my favorite part of the game. So I told you I went through it finally, was able to get some time and played through the entire game. I used the male character because he's stronger. But yeah, I just really enjoyed the art. Like, it's so original, it's so different. Like you said, Mexican gamers will like very colorful imagery and the violent gameplay and the fun aspect of it. It's not all being taken seriously. There's like a joking playfulness to it. It's not just violence, you know? I really enjoyed that about the game a lot. With those drawings that you did, you said you did like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, which I actually drew a lot of when I was a kid too. And that's really cool.
I mean, there was a lot of really bad cartoons during the era, but the ones that we do remember are the ones that took seriously the fun and not just being, oh, we are turtles, what a silly. No, we are Ninja Turtles, so when there's action and the action is cool and nice and heroic.
Right.
When they're being silly, they're just having marshmallows on top of pizza.
Right, exactly.
Which was very confusing for me during that age because we did not have pizzas in Mexico at that time.
Okay. That's interesting. The Baker, or El Panadero, however you want to say it. Your game is in many different languages right now. It's in Chinese, Spanish, English, Japanese, Romanian. How did you go about choosing what languages you decide to put your game in, or is that just kind of like a thing that is there today because it's international gaming? I mean, you have to think about the international audience.
Yeah. So English, Spanish, and Japanese is just because those are the languages that I can speak, more or less, but anyway. So that was just kind of natural to get in there. About Turkish and Romanian, she really enjoyed the look of the game.
Oh, really?
Well, maybe someone else will like it.
Yeah.
She helped me with translating.
Oh, nice.
So far, I've got like about 2 sales from Romania.
Yeah.
Which I think it was very good investment.
So it was worth it.
Yeah.
That's good.
And the same was with Turkish. Someone just approached me and said, I like it. I like your art.
Yeah.
I do localizations.
Right.
And he offered to do it pro bono.
Oh, nice.
So I say, hey, that's a good deal. About the rest of the, because later on I added Korean and traditional Chinese and simplified Chinese.
How long did it take you to make this game from start to finished product?
I finished the game twice.
Oh, you finished the game twice. Okay.
So the first time it was about 1 year and a half
Right.
when I got the 1.0 version.
Uh-huh.
Was released about almost a year from now. And I say, well, okay, I done it. Let's move to the next project. My friends say, hey, so did you apply for to become a Nintendo developer?
Right.
I said, come on, that's so difficult. No one's going to believe I can do it, right?
Right.
And now just do it. So I just did it. And about a month later,
Yeah.
I mean, after many things that I cannot really explain because of the NDA and all of that,
Yeah.
I became a Nintendo approved developer.
Oh, nice. So that process almost took you a year then to put it onto the Switch, pretty much? Yeah.
So, but it was not just a technical issue.
Right.
It's me learning how to
Right,
deal
you
with
had to learn all the roadblocks and everything.
a lot of red tape
Red tape, yeah.
and things that I didn't read properly.
Right.
A lot of new guidelines. So,
Right. Speaking of that, what were some of the roadblocks that you encountered with making this game? Or what were some things that were easier for you or more difficult because you were in Japan?
I think that the main thing about this game is that I did it all by basically myself,
Right.
and I don't really need a big machine to do it. So
Right.
it can be just a hikikomori and do it
Right.
all right. The problem will be the financing and all of this,
Right.
because I'm already old. There are now some things in Japan
Yeah.
that are said to push the development of indies and doujin
Right.
software.
Yeah.
But there's always a cutoff on age.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I could apply, but I cannot apply because I'm too old. Say, okay, well, that means I'm just going to go again with my own money. For development and everything,
Yeah.
it's completely fine.
Right.
I already have my own savings. I mean, I'm a more or less responsible adult. Don't worry about me. I could have used that extra money for PR and marketing.
Right.
There's really a very limited reach to the people that can make games. If I were living on some other countries that
Yes.
had different ways to promote. Otherwise, the Japanese community on indies is very strong,
Right.
very helpful
For somebody who's trying to be a game developer in Japan, do you have any like advice for them? What they should do or how they can get started, or should they not? Should they choose another thing to do?
No, I mean, if you're going for money,
Yeah.
don't.
Right.
Because even if you were on a proper company,
Yeah.
you will still just be like a programmer or anything. You won't get that much of money. But if you're doing it because you have to do it, it's not something like you can really choose after you have tried.
Right.
You become just this creative thing. I mean, even if you're doing it solo,
Right.
don't be by yourself. Get connected to whatever is the local community of the engine you're using, if you're using an engine. Find the events. Recently there's been an explosion of events, not just in Tokyo. Kyoto has always been there, but very chill. In Nagoya, in Aichi, in Sendai, there are lots of stuff, and many of the people that were doing doujin software before, seeing things a little bit more on the indie side. And which I mean is that instead of being only a circle, they try to join other people. In our case, it's a little bit of a tide.
Yeah.
It lifts everyone when everyone is doing
Doing well. Yeah.
well.
I can see
Because
that.
again, back to the thing about people knowing your stuff.
Right.
If indie itself is a niche word, then not a lot of people that casually play Mario or anything
Right.
will look for specific games on Steam or
Right.
something like that. And also you get a lot of information, you
Right.
get to know about events, you get to know about probably things that could help you, grants and all that stuff.
Right.
You will have to get out there if you want to improve on, not just on your chances of making a game, on finishing it,
Right.
because some other people will also push you
Right.
to do it in a good way. But you will also learn to not feel that this is the only thing that you can do, and you will lose a lot of the pressure of making something. If it's not going to work, well, let's try something else, right?
Right.
Be social. It's the antithesis of everything I ever say. But
Yeah, it's important to make connections. Yeah, and I'm sure it's easier to do when you're something that you're passionate about. Yeah.
and learn from criticism, because there's no way you will make a good game.
Right.
I mean, even if you put it out, but
Right.
you will get to the point that's good enough.
Right. You chose the Godot engine, Is that because you had experience in it, or is that just the one you picked up and said, I'm going to go with this one?
It's because I had no experience with anything. I wanted just something to not get crazy during the events. And I downloaded a couple of engines to figure out what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
I'm mostly a Linux guy, so that already kind of set up my expectations a little bit closer. I also don't have a gaming machine. I just have one really small Linux PC, and that's all I needed. The language is very easy to understand, going to work for you.
Right.
And also because of the scope of my projects is small games, 2D, nothing overly complicated. So that's why I choose Godot, and also because I had no intention of publishing to mobile phones or doing anything bigger than that. If you're new on this,
yes,
try it out, see what kind of games you can make. If you want something else, there are lots of better engines for other games. And the other thing is that it's free.
It's free, there you go, that's always good. Your game is El Panadero, or The Baker, and why did you decide to do a game about, where's that,
That's the connection.
where's that come from?
At the beginning, I wanted to make a game a little bit like Snow Brothers, which they're going to have a new game now. Yeah.
Oh, right. Free
publicity. And the idea is that you throw something at an enemy, when they get stuck, it becomes a ball of something. Getting close and punch it, right?
Right.
While I was prototyping it, I said, okay, well, I cannot use the snow because that's already it's already taken. What else I could do? Just a big ball of something. Say, all right, maybe those, right? My brain just rotted on a lot of black and white movies. Getting the punching animation and everything, that was funner, right? So, okay, so I want the punch to be strong and everything, and a baker, because they have to be always very from the morning and covering all the floor and everything. Even if they don't look like they're strong. That's how you become the baker.
I see. So I thought you might say like somebody in your family was a baker, or maybe you like to bake or something like that, but it was just something you had to find a way to make stuff work for you. It just shows your creative mind. I like the way you think.
It's just how every single person has this kind of weird connections, and that's how it works on mine. Games have a kind of tradition of making silly stuff about, like, well, Mario's a plumber.
Let's go.
Well, let's go with that. It's fine. And then it comes on the setting. If you're a noob, you just write about what you know. You say, well, I just draw about what I know. And it became to by cities. Well, I was in the university. I did a lot of drawings about random stuff. While waiting for my girl or anything, right? Let's just make my city, because it's also something that people outside of Mexico, it's fairly unknown. But in Mexico, there's a joke that everything that's weird, it will happen in Guanajuato, because we have mummies, we have monsters, and the streets themselves are like a huge dungeon, extraterrestrial against aliens.
Good. It all fits together, and it kind of is parallel to Japan. All those things are here in Japan too. Mummies and monsters and all that stuff.
And also got a little bit of inspiration from how in Gambare Goemon you just get a lot of Japanese stuff for no reason. I mean, if you're looking at it from the outside,
from the Western standpoint, or some other place, yes.
And I think there's a little bit of things that are kind of universal.
Yeah.
Like, well, if you have bread, you start throwing fire.
Right.
It happens everywhere. And that's how it went.
What were like some of the inspirations from like maybe an old Famicom game?
The movement is a very slower paced Contra.
Right.
Especially on hardcore.
Okay. So there's definite a Contra inspiration in this one.
Yeah, and the jump is very much Contra. This comes again because I could not figure out how to get the landing to look nice.
Right.
Say, well, let's do it like in the old Famicom games, because if it's rolling and then suddenly it stops, your brain just kind of thinks, it's fine. That's a lot of things that happen in animation.
Right.
Sometimes the brain says, just go with it.
It connects it, right?
Yeah. The punching, this Guardian Heroes and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And then I dial it back to the limitations because
Right.
they are a couple of bakers. They are not trained super soldiers, so they
Right.
cannot attack when they are hanging on ropes.
Right.
And most of the things that move them is just fury and wrath and
Right.
vengeance,
Right.
and that should be the way to move forward.
Right.
I wanted them to be a couple because I like this idea of the battle couple.
Yeah.
There's a little bit of Haganen no Renkin Jutsushi, the Full Metal Alchemist.
Yeah.
There's a couple of alchemists.
Yes.
There's a butcher and his wife,
Yes.
and they fight together at times.
Okay.
And I say, okay, yeah, this is a good thing to go with.
The setting is in. Is it your hometown or is it just some
Yeah,
mythical
it's
place?
my
It's your hometown. Okay.
Yeah, you can find a few
I
landmarks.
do. I mean, themes like the way you do the cutscenes and the way the game starts out. It looks like you're on a big giant CRT, and
Yeah.
you got the VHS waves or whatever you call that kind of degradation. I'm not sure what the
Yeah,
specific
there's
name
one
is.
reason about the story that people wanted me to put a story in it
Yeah.
after a few demos.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, context is important for
Yes.
some
Yes.
people.
Yes.
But you and me know, especially when we got it on the NES,
Yes.
sometimes especially like in Contra, right?
Yeah. There was
Contra,
no.
you're already fighting.
Yeah.
In the Japanese Contra, oh no, you have this whole story about
Little-
the satellite coming into Galuga and everything.
Right.
In America, no. You're
Just
there,
straight to the
fight
action.
it.
Yeah.
So I decided just to put this and make it as it was some kid just fast forwarding
Yeah.
the story because it's boring. And that's how I did all the vignettes, no dialogue. You don't really have to worry about why, because it's a game.
Right.
It follows game logic from the era, and that's what I wanted to go. I get a lot of criticism on that. Some people really dislike it. But again, I did not care about the story, so
Right.
sorry about that. There's a lot of lore behind it. Maybe someday I'll do a compendium or something.
Right.
It's stuff that I thought on my own head. Why is some dude being digested in here? It's not about the dude being digested, it's that I needed an enemy that was spitting hazardous materials.
Right.
What do you need an enemy to do that? Well,
Right.
because I needed an object, something to move you through that,
Right.
right? So again, it's just about thinking about gameplay first,
Yeah.
and then adapting it to the setting that I already made up.
Did you design it from a standpoint as like I want this type of looking boss, or it has to do this movement and this movement? Did you go from like the game movement standpoint to design it, or did you have like an idea of the boss in mind first, or maybe a little bit of both?
It's a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And sometimes it was about the setting that I wanted to show.
Yeah.
The very first one is called El Feligres,
Right.
which means the churchgoer.
Right.
And it's because these aliens go into a church,
Right.
they ate everyone in there,
Yeah.
and from the stuff that from everyone they eat,
Yeah.
when they got out, they became this monster. The basic idea was that the aliens go attack, they eat people,
Yeah.
and then they use the bones and the knowledge to build something extra. That's why you see a lot of skulls everywhere.
I like it. The style of artwork. I know you wanted violence and you wanted colorful stuff, but it's still, while it's really colorful and there's a lot of stuff going on, it still has a dark edge to it. Everything has that dark tint.
It comes with being Mexican. It just happens. We have a little bit of dark humor.
A little darker, yes. But that's just your natural style, the way you drew it like that. You didn't have like, I'm gonna give it this dark hue. That's just your style.
That's just how it comes out.
Yeah. I'm just curious about the art stuff because that's one of the most interesting things for me is just seeing the different style of art. And like I said, that's probably like my favorite part, just experiencing all the different graphics and just the new different characters that come out and all these skulls. And it's just really cool. I hope everybody gets a chance to check it out and play it.
Yeah, please do.
How can we find your game?
Look out for El Panadero, the baker, or El Panadero and Sketchy Ceviche, which is the name of my studio. Also look at the links below.
There you go. Yeah, definitely all the links will be below, and Instagram and
Instagram,
Twitter.
I have Twitter. You can just look for Sketchy Ceviche
Yes.
on YouTube.
I appreciate you letting us talk to you about your game. It's a really cool game.
Oh, thank you for the opportunity.
I hope you much success in the future. It seems like you're doing pretty well, actually. I'm very impressed with all your...
Get in there.
all you're doing. So
Yeah.
El Panadero,
Yes.
definitely worth checking out. Don't sleep on that game. It's on the
Thank you.
Switch. I know everybody plays Switch, so definitely check it out. If not, if you're a PC head, you got to check out Steam. It's there. It's everywhere. So definitely go check it out. But thanks again, Enu Base. Appreciate
you.
it. If there's any final words from you.
Yeah, I also began a new project called El Boletero, which is about it's the ticket here. Maybe some other day I will explain it better. That's why I don't think we have that much time already. If you want to support that project, buy El Panadero. That's
All right.
the way it's going to be.
All right.
So thank you.
Great. Thank you. Very good. But that's all the time that we have today. Thanks again, Arturo. Stay safe out there, everybody. But remember,
Stay scruffy looking.
yes, stay scruffy.
Again, a huge thank you to Inu Base taking the time out for this interview and chat. You'll want to check out his most recent game, The Baker, on the Switch. Another huge thank you to all my channel members who are a big reason why I continue to make this content. Stay scruffy looking, everyone.
Who's scruffy looking?